What's going on, kids? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. So, more slightly negative. I don't think this is really going to be long-term negative, but certainly in the immediate, slight negative news to report about with the Dolphins. They have yet to sign their second-round pick, and boys, I'm not going to lie, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Jonah, I'm going to call him Jonah Savai, because everything after that first I got nothing. Jonah Savai, who is probably going to be the Dolphins starter at left guard this year. Hopefully be starter at left guard this year. I can't really envision a scenario in which he is not the starter that is good for the Dolphins and good for Tua going into this season. So likelihood is he is going to be the starter, but he has yet to sign his contract, so he is technically speaking yet to become officially a Miami Dolphin. The Dolphins drafted him 37th overall out of the University of Arizona. The Dolphins very clearly made an effort to shore up the interior of the lines on both sides of the line, going defensive line in the first round and then offensive line in the second round, both on the interior. And without a doubt, my opinion, the two weakest points of the team were the interior of the lines, and likelihood is you got at least a little bit better on both, but you need them to be out there. You already got your first round pick taken care of, got that contract situated, but now Jonah Savai, it has become a struggle. And really, this is one of the few issues that the Dolphins are currently facing, that it's not really their fault for why they're in this situation. Savai has not signed his contract, and 30 of the 32 teams have failed to sign their second round contracts. And actually, 31 of the 32 teams, because one of the teams that has signed one of their second round picks is the Cleveland Browns, that were able to secure a contract for the 33rd overall pick. They have another selection that they picked in the second round. That pick was Carson Schwesing. That pick was Carson Schwesinger. Woo, I think that was the fourth time, and I think I got it. Carson Schwesinger, 33rd overall pick, linebacker, and the 34th overall pick was Jaden Higgins, wide receiver, that went to the Houston Texans. So you look at those two, they got their contract, and you look at, well, why is that a problem for the other 32 or the other 31 teams that they got their contracts done, and how does that affect the other teams? The issue comes in that these two teams decided to give their second round picks fully guaranteed contracts. Now, there's a lot of guaranteed money, especially through the first few rounds of the NFL draft. First rounds are all fully guaranteed, and then you get to the second round, and most of their contract is guaranteed. But the latter half is when you start to get to negotiate, typically with second round picks, whether they're getting fully guaranteed money or not. And pretty much the entirety of time that since we've been under the new regulations with contracts for rookies, Sam Bradford got that ridiculous deal, and then ever since then there's been harsher rules as to what rookies can be signed to. But ever since then, majority of the time, you're looking at first 2 years on the deal, fully guaranteed, and then once you get to the third year, that's really where the negotiating starts for the second round guys. Some guys are able to negotiate to get that full third year guaranteed, but rarely do you see any, let alone all, of the final year of the rookie deal fully guaranteed. And that is what these two rookies have been able to do. Carson Schwesinger, got it, and Jaden Higgins, they have been able to secure fully guaranteed contracts as a second round pick. And that has sent all the other teams on notice and in somewhat of a frenzy now. The NFL is a copycat league in one way or another. Teams try to copy what works on the offensive side of the ball. Teams try to copy what happens on the defensive side of the ball. And players try to copy contracts. If you see somebody that was drafted similar to you or has similar stats to you once you're in the league, any opportunity to say, hey, this guy is getting this, I am this, I think I should be getting something similar to what this guy is getting. This is not the first time that the Browns have been involved in a fully guaranteed deal that has screwed over the rest of the NFL. Notably, both of these teams were actually involved in the deal. Obviously, that sent Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans to the Cleveland Browns, and you give somebody that had as many allegations that Deshaun Watson had, you give him a fully guaranteed contract, which was one of the biggest contracts in the NFL at the time. He hadn't played in, I believe, over a year at that point, and you just throw both those things out the window. You give him a massive contract, and that sends the rest of the NFL certainly into a scramble at that point, so much to the extent that It looks like there was some sort of collusion going on between NFL owners to not let something like this happen again, to set a precedent behind the scenes that you were not going to let these guys demand the market like this. Now we're experiencing that with rookies. And look, if I'm in their shoes, if I'm in Savai's shoes, look, I am trying to get every dollar I possibly can. And it's a little easier to do something like this when you're not the only one doing it. If he was the standalone only second round pick that had yet to sign their contract, there would certainly be a lot more pressure on him to get this done. You don't want to be a lone wolf fighting back against your team. But when you have 30 of the 32 second round picks, all of which holding out from signing that contract because they want to get it fully guaranteed, because they've seen two people get their contract fully guaranteed, we're probably going to see a lot of these teams start to bend and give these players their fully guaranteed contracts. If I'm being honest, the Dolphins don't have any leverage when it comes to this. So if I'm Savai, I'm milking this out. If you're the Dolphins, what are you going to do? Go out next year with Liam Eichenberg again at left guard? We saw how that went the last 2 seasons when he was forced to play that role. He's not a good offensive lineman in general, let alone... I'll just leave it at that. He's not a good offensive line in general, let alone anywhere he plays on the offensive line. So if you're Jonah, you're looking at them like, well, so 2 guys that were picked less than 10 picks ahead of me just got fully guaranteed deals. I'm already getting a little bit less money than them. I don't want the same amount of money. I want the same amount relative in guarantees. And you can look at the current roster and be like, hey, I saw what you guys did last year. I saw your run metrics. I saw your passing metrics on the offensive line. Neither of which were that good. You pick me with a premium pick. Pay me, or you're going to suffer the consequences. Do you really want Tua to go out there and get another concussion? Do you really want, as Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, who your jobs are on the line, do you really want to rely on Liam Eichenberg to play left guard for another season? If I'm Savai, I'm taking my time. Why not? This is his first opportunity to make some real money. These kids obviously are making some money now with NIL, and that, I believe, only further emboldens them to take these risks. They already have a little bit of money in the bag that they can count on. Now you can say, wait a minute. I don't need to rush to sign this contract. I already have a little bit of money. This money that I believe most of them are going to be making is more than they made at their colleges. It's crazy that we live in a world where I think it's more than what they're making at their colleges, but it's certainly, it's not the same extent as it would have been if this was 10 years ago, where legally these players weren't making a dime in college. Now they enter with not a whole lot of leverage. They come in already with a bag. They already come in with the Maserati and the decent house that they wanted to because of the money they've made at their schools. This isn't great for the Dolphins. You would love to have your premium pick, your early second round pick on the offensive line at a desperate place of need, to have him be in-house and start getting reps with Tua, get reps with the rest of the offensive line, and a drastic area of needed improvement for this Dolphins team. You need to have him getting ready to go for the season. It is not that long till the first preseason game. If I'm not mistaken, we're looking like 3 weeks out till the Dolphins are playing a real preseason game. So you'd like to have him probably on the field for a few snaps with that, but if nothing else, you want him going in practice, and as of now, that's not going to be happening. He's not the only one. We're not the only team dealing with this, so it's not really a poo-poo Dolphins moment, because it's not really our fault. 2 teams decided to set a precedent, and now the rest of the league has to deal with it.